Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT's massive reaction to the big NRG versus LEV game from last night. LEV absolutely curb stomping NRG into the ground and demolishing their chances in the series. Demon1 getting clowned hard. He was talking about that he was going to take down Aspas, take care of him easily going into the series. That was of course not the case at all last night. What of this NRG team now? Are they still good enough to actually qualify for Masters Shanghai? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into today. We'll discuss Evil Geniuses versus Crew in a few minutes time. Of course, Sentinels, they play rather soon as well in this super week as it's being described here. Of course, here we are on the Monday. Quickly though, from FNS and from SOM, they both have apparently signed a contract. We saw FNS talking about this the other day. Look, I don't think FNS is coming in as a player, although maybe there is an argument to say that NRG, they could do with FNS and SOM back in their team potentially, based on what we have seen recently, but yeah, I imagine they are signing some sort of content creator arrangement somewhere. NRG, in my head, makes the most sense, but who even knows at this point? There are other options, but it was cool to see this happen between the both of them, and of course FNS and SOM both been killing it on broadcast on their streams for some time now, and we'll see some clips in a second. Firstly though, from Jake, because Jake, a player that was brought into Cloud9 to replace Ye, famously, did a respectable job and then was, well, kicked out of the team, dropped this season because they weren't good enough. And actually, Jake decides to retire from VALORANT, which was a pretty big surprise to me, but I guess if you look at it, it does make some sense, because when you watch Jake's play, even in Cloud9 and even at the end of last season, it never seemed to me that his heart was fully in it. It didn't seem to me that he was quite as committed, maybe, as some other players were. But still a talented player, and a player that, you know, I thought still had potential elsewhere. But yeah, as he says, basically just explains why, and I was happy with the old Cloud9 roster, felt demotivated day in day out to keep on playing. Once I was dropped, I tried to blame everyone but myself on that team. I realised after Cloud9 let me go how taxing it was on my mental health and these other things as well. So, you know, wishing the best for Jet going forwards. Did seem to me that, yeah, wasn't quite maybe as motivated or the same player that he was previously, and it was interesting actually that he said that, yeah, he was blaming the rest of the guys, because he even says to Vanity here, I regret a lot of what I said about you and I'm happy you guys are winning now, best of luck. So yeah, Jake will take another step. Thought it was kind of sad to read this as well, actually, as Jake is about a time machine. I would never even pursue esports ever again. So pretty sad. I do feel like if Jake wanted to, he's got the talent to, you know, keep on grinding, do it alongside school at the same time. You know, I don't think that it was necessarily a wasted endeavour. I'm sure Jake actually inspired many people on his journey from, you know, those from the collegiate side, from the tier 3 sides, to make it through. So wishing the best for all involved going forwards. We've got to mention some matches though, because yes, VCT in China, just a quick update on what's going on out there, because it's pretty, you know, you can basically predict what's going to happen before it happens, to be honest here. Edward Gaming, they got the victory against TEC yesterday. That was a 2-0. Pretty emphatic, 13-5, 13-5. And we'll see another series that was nearly 13-5, 13-5, but even worse, actually, in just a couple of seconds. The other game as well was Tylee versus Nova. They got a 2-1 win here, so yeah, ended up on the split. And Nova got 1-0, then they get comebacked on 14-12 on a crazy ascent, and then 13-9 on the split. So the way that's looking right now is like this, and we have Edward Gaming topping up Group A at 3-0. FPX are 3-0 in Group Omega, and yeah, we can probably predict which teams are going to make it through to the playoffs over there, and there are only, well, there's basically one good team right now in Group A, which, well, is not the case in the Americas, shall we say. This, though, was a remarkable series yesterday, and just goes to show that the Pacific region is actually incredibly interesting right now, because it no longer feels like Gen.G are the best team in the Pacific. They were beaten by PaperX and by DRX the other day, but now PaperX, they lost to Team Secret. So I was thinking, well, it was a thought process, understandably, right, that when Jing made the return, damn, PaperX are going to be really hard to beat now. Feel bad for Monyet, but, you know, him coming in, Jing, makes a lot of sense. Obviously, him is allowed to come back to the roster, doesn't have to do his military service, all this type of stuff that's happened. So they get their old roster back, and I thought they were going to be really hard to stop. But Team Secret were good, for sure. But, you know, beating them in this way, Jing was on the Sage on the Icebox, of course, but then Sunset was on the Rays, and still had a really hard time. Like, how often do you see Jing go 9-20 on the Rays and Jeremy on the other side absolutely clown him? And we can even even see probably just, you know, head-to-head performance or whatever between the players. And, you know, Jing versus Jeremy, 7 kills to him, 2 to Jing. So, you know, he was getting absolutely torched. Sure, one bad series, and, you know, they're still 2-1. But still, for Paper Rex, I mean, that's the series you really want to win, right? And obviously, Team Secret, a massively important victory for them to get to 2-2, because that is probably going to be good enough to get to them to the playoffs, to be honest, based on just that victory, given the guys they are to play. But, you know, Paper Rex are 2-1. Talent Esports are 2-1, so you know, I think they should be fine, but it's probably going to be these 6 teams right now that go to the playoffs as it currently stands. And right now, the best team in the Pacific looks like DRX again. So yeah, it's all changed over there over the last couple of months. But let's talk about the Americas, because wow, what a time this was last night. We had Crew versus EG, and then we had Aspas versus Demon1, or really it was just NRG versus Leviathan. And the other day, Demon1 was kind of talked about by NRG, and they said, yeah, he's going to keep Aspas in check, and they asked him a quote, and he said, yeah, I'll take care of Aspas on facing Aspas and friends this upcoming weekend. And this is like a real clip as well, by the way, like it's not made up. He actually said it in this video here a few days ago now, when he was asked about how he's going to take care of Lev, and he says, yeah, like, no problem, I'm going to take care of him, don't worry, I got him covered. And, well, not quite the case. This was the other series, Crew versus EG, and this is honestly looking really nice for Crew. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Group A is, like, way stronger than Group Omega right now. Like, these guys are getting clowned on, and Crew just put them to the pain. I mean, honestly, so impressive. I think Heat coming into this team has been really great for these guys, and the more I watch Crew, the more I think, damn, these guys are legit, and it makes Group A insanely interesting. EG are a bit fraudulent. Apoth is not the best, I'm not going to lie, watching some of his plays and his timings, and he was not having a great time here on the Breeze. So I still feel like EG, they have some pieces of what they were able to do last year with the coaching stuff and these other things. They just don't have the players anymore, and their players don't, you know, aren't as receptive. Fair play to Derek actually putting up a try at times, but yeah, this is pretty ugly. But let's see what happened in the LRG LEV series.
Was I wrong?
You're always wrong.
Okay, that's not true. I said you were going to win. I thought NRG is just going to be insane this season.
Me too. I said the same thing.
Yeah, it's only one match, right? Copium.
The thing is, like, the way they lost is what's shocking.
I agree. That's a bad loss.
You wouldn't expect them to have, like, this low of a level.
The issue is they haven't beaten any of the big 3, like the top 3 teams yet, when they played them. All right, well, I got to go look at the stats. I don't want to, but I have to. And bang. Yeah, this is a switch up.
We have to drop the raise. We have to drop the raise.
Yeah, they're going back. They're going to go back. Where does this leave us? Can NRG still qualify for playoffs? Yeah, absolutely. They will qualify for playoffs. I'm sure of that. Right? Surely. They have no other threats. This is their only threatening team. They should be able to beat all 3 of these teams. I did not think NRG was capable of playing that badly, but they legit looked lost on a lot of situations, and they hesitated a lot because they ran out of confidence, I guess. This was just a guy diff all around. Not sure what else you can say. NRG literally they beat Loud, who is jet lagged, but that excuse of jet lag is more valid now because of how they played today. You look like you're about to cry. Guys, I'm not playing. It doesn't matter to me. I just wish we had a better game. That's all I wish, but credit to LEV, they were insane.
So I thought this was going to be close. I thought 2-1, maybe to NRG, maybe to LEV, but wow, to lose like this was emphatic. 13-4, 13-4, and honestly there's even an argument to say that it was even more dominant than the numbers at times suggested. Like, this was not even close. The debate is really around this player in Demon1, because, I mean, the more we look at these numbers, the uglier it gets. Just to look at the overall series, if you guys didn't see it, you know, Aspas, Mazzino, King, all these guys turning up, and it's interesting with LEV. They've clearly got a lot of firepower, but I've mentioned before that really it tends to only be Aspas and sometimes King that consistently deliver. But you know, when you're going to get series like this out of Mazzino, good luck beating them. And Aspas was on the raise, Demon1 was on the raise, on the Suns and the Binds, and Demon1 was 2 first kills, 15 first deaths. We can even look here at the performance side and compare the two and see that, well, let's just look at Demon1, for example, here. 1 in 8 against Aspas, 0 in 4 against Com in terms of engagement. Like, that is just so bad. Completely getting clowned on for a player that's meant to be one of the best in the world. Now, I think Demon1 suffers from, I wouldn't say suffers, right, but it's just some players don't suit certain agents. Guys such as Ye, for example, great Jet players, you know, slightly more methodical players, and also players that probably play on a lower sensitivity. I genuinely do think that is one of the pieces. I'm not sure it's really possible to be an elite Raze player unless you play on a higher sensitivity. I just quickly looked up the relative, you know, senses, and Aspas plays on double, I think, the effective DPI that Demon1 plays on. And just with Raze, it's like, if you don't have the sensitivity, I don't think you can play the game in the same way. Like, you can with the Jet and with the Chamber and with, you know, Brimstone and something, but yeah, Demon1 and the Raze got clowned on here, and it was rough to watch this series. So LEV just completely take them to school. The Demon1 highlights were effectively non-existent in this series. I'll take care of him, don't worry about it. And yeah, obviously didn't end especially well for those guys, and even the Sentinels say, yeah, he did not take care of them, he did not keep Aspas in check, and he just absolutely went missing for the entire series. So NRG as a team obviously did not play well at all. We even saw this going around Demon1 if it wasn't for Potter in his life, because of course we saw what happened last season, and I do think the approach from NRG here was, yeah, massively poor in terms of the setup they went for, and I think probably lots to learn. And also for NRG, they're now thinking, well, damn, are we actually any good? Because the games they've played so far, given that Loud now look extremely underwhelming in their current state, is that victory from NRG even that impressive there? Ethan says, yeah, look, sure, we had an extremely bad day, but and they got completely outclassed. But getting outclassed to this extent raises things into massive questions. And yeah, this I thought was crazy. The whole series against NRG was 34 rounds. One map against Sentinels was 36 rounds, right? They went to all those insane OTs that happened not long ago. And Zeltis, you know, roasting them even further, saying they just created a new, like, or they re-released or whatever, NRG speedrunning YouTube channel. And, well, there was a pretty good first episode to come up there. But this is the way that it now looks. So LEV, by the way, right, the only team they've lost to is C9. So, and C9 are 3-0. Like, I don't know, you gotta wonder whether C9 are like a serious threat as time progresses here. Group Omega is still trash, by the way, like EG at 0-3, MIBR Fury allowed, all 0-2, and 100T are probably pretty solid, but now, with Crew at 3-0, with Cloud9 at 3-0, you gotta think that it's almost gonna be between Sen and NRG for who's gonna make it. That's kind of what it looks like, even to the playoffs. Now, there are still plenty more matches to go. Sen play EG tomorrow, NRG play MIBR, and, you know, Crew are gonna play Loud, Crew are gonna play LEV. So, it's not gonna be easy, and obviously Cloud9, you know, they've already beaten LEV, though, which is obviously very nice for them, and they've beaten Loud. So, Cloud9 look in a great position in Group A. And wow, I don't know what's going to happen elsewhere. And G2 are pretty good as well. So, man, this group is fascinating. But all of a sudden, the NRG going from favourites to be the #1 seed in the playoffs to all of a sudden potentially not even making it based on the emphatic defeat they had yesterday. So, very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.